Have you ever felt an ache in your joints that seems to appear out of nowhere? Something so sudden and stubborn that you can't trace it back to anything you did? A patient of mine once shared that her arthritis pain felt like a shadow following her, showing up stronger on the days she least expected it. And I want you to imagine this. You wake up one morning, stretch your hands, and realize they don't move as smoothly as they used to. It's as if your body is trying to whisper something important, something you may have been overlooking for years. My name is Dr. Evelyn Carter, and after more than 3 decades caring for older adults across the United States, I've learned that arthritis pain doesn't always come from overuse, weather changes, or age alone. Sometimes the most powerful triggers are the smallest ones. And sometimes the most effective solution is something so natural, so simple, and so overlooked that people dismiss it before they ever give it a chance. But the truth is this: your body is constantly communicating with you, and when you learn how to listen, everything begins to make sense. I remember sitting with a gentleman in his 70s who told me he felt like arthritis had stolen pieces of his life. But when we dug deeper, it wasn't his age that was holding him back. It was inflammation quietly being fueled by everyday habits he didn't realize were affecting his joints. And what changed his life wasn't a new medication or a complicated treatment plan. It was a natural remedy he had never considered. A remedy that worked because it supported his body instead of overwhelming it. Science supports what I've seen for years. After age 60, your immune system becomes more sensitive, your joints recover more slowly, and inflammation lingers longer than it once did. That's why even the smallest adjustments can create powerful results. Your body may be older, but it is still responsive, still capable of healing, still capable of surprising you. In this video, we're going to uncover the one natural cure so many seniors overlook. A breakthrough that can help calm inflammation, restore comfort, and give your joints the gentle support they've been asking for. And if you want more guidance, compassion, and expert insight on living healthier after 60, I invite you to stay with me and subscribe to Senior Health Daily so we can continue this journey together. Why arthritis pain becomes more intense after age 60. As we begin this next part of our conversation, I want you to take a moment and think about your body not as something that is failing you, but as something that has worked faithfully for decades. Your joints have carried you through every chapter of your life, from the steps you took as a child to the countless moments as an adult, where movement was something you didn't even need to think about. But once you pass the age of 60, something quieter and more delicate begins to happen. The body shifts, the signals change, and arthritis pain, which may have once been mild or occasional, begins to speak more loudly. When I sit with my older patients, they often start by saying the same thing. I didn't do anything different. Why does it hurt now? And the truth is, the pain rarely comes from something dramatic. It's not always from lifting too much, walking too far, or sleeping in the wrong position. It comes from the natural changes inside your joints that build slowly over time. These changes don't mean your body is weak. They mean your body is evolving. Inside every joint is a cushion, a smooth surface that keeps movement soft and comfortable. But as you age, that cushion thins. The cartilage that once felt like a well-padded pillow becomes more like a worn-down sponge. The fluid that keeps your joints lubricated also becomes less abundant and sometimes thicker, making movement less smooth. Imagine opening a door with dry hinges. It still works, but it doesn't glide the way it used to. That's what happens to your joints. Another shift that surprises many seniors is how differently the immune system behaves. When you're young, your immune system handles inflammation quickly and quietly. It puts out small fires before you ever feel them. But after 60, it becomes more sensitive, almost like a guard dog that barks at shadows. Foods that never bothered you before suddenly trigger swelling. A night of poor sleep leads to aching hands. A stressful day shows up as pain in your knees. This doesn't mean your immune system is broken. It means it's responding with more intensity because the body is trying to protect what's left of your joint structure. I remember a woman named Linda who came into my office holding her wrist with a look of frustration. Only someone who has lived with pain could understand. She told me she felt betrayed by her own body, as if aging had stolen something from her. But when we talked more deeply, she realized her body wasn't betraying her at all. It was communicating. It was telling her that inflammation was building, not because of a single event, but because of the slow accumulation of stress, diet, sleep, and hormonal changes that had been adding up over the years. One of the most revealing conversations I ever had was with a man named Thomas, who insisted arthritis pain just happens with age. But as we walked through his daily routine, it became clear that his pain wasn't caused simply by time. It was caused by inflammation that his older joints could no longer buffer the way they once did. When he started drinking more water, stretching gently each morning, and removing just one food from his diet, his pain softened in ways he didn't believe were possible. That is the part of this journey that fills me with hope. Your body may be older, but it hasn't stopped responding. It hasn't stopped healing. What has changed is the level of attention it needs. Your joints require more care, more nourishment, more awareness. And once you begin to understand the reasons behind your arthritis pain, you're no longer fighting the unknown. You are walking alongside your body instead of against it. This is the foundation we need before we explore the breakthrough remedy so many people overlook. Because to understand the natural cure, you first need to understand the story your body has been trying to tell you. Now that we've taken a deeper look at why arthritis pain becomes more intense with age, I want to gently guide you towards something that so many seniors overlook. It's not always the big decisions that shape your joint health. More often, it's the small, quiet patterns woven into your everyday life that allow inflammation to build. Until one morning, you wake up wondering how things became so uncomfortable so quickly. One of the most common hidden triggers is the food you eat without thinking twice. I'm not talking about indulgences or major changes in your diet. I'm talking about the simple habits, the comforting routines, the flavors you've enjoyed for decades that suddenly start working against you when your body's internal balance shifts after 60. Your joints become more sensitive to inflammation, and even your immune system reacts differently, i.e., than it used to. I remember a patient named Marjorie, a woman in her mid-70s who loved her evening snack of crackers and cheese. She told me it was her favorite moment of the day, a little ritual that made her feel peaceful. But she also noticed that her hands were particularly stiff each morning. She blamed age, cold weather, sleeping position, everything except the snack she enjoyed every night. When I suggested she take a short break from dairy to test her body's reaction, she was skeptical. But just a few days later, she called me and said, "Evelyn, I woke up and for the first time in years, my fingers didn't feel like blocks of wood." That moment opened her eyes to how easily arthritis pain can be influenced by even the smallest part of her routine. Another trigger that catches people off guard is sugar. Not just the obvious sources like desserts or candy, but hidden sugars in bread, sauces, yogurt, cereal, and packaged foods that might seem harmless. Sugar fuels inflammation, and after 60, the body's ability to control that inflammation slows down. I once worked with a retired engineer who enjoyed a sweetened yogurt every morning. He believed it was healthy because it was light and low in fat, but the added sugars were enough to make his knees throb before noon. When he switched to a low-sugar version and added fresh fruit instead, the change in his pain level was remarkable. Then there's dehydration, a trigger that almost no one suspects. Joint fluid needs water to stay smooth and cushion your bones. But many older adults drink far less water than they realize. Medications, reduced thirst sensation, and daily distractions all contribute to mild dehydration that stiffens the joints. I've seen people reduce their arthritis pain simply by adding one extra glass of water in the afternoon. It sounds too simple to matter, but it makes a real difference. Sleep is another piece of the puzzle. As you age, sleep patterns change, and poor sleep increases the body's inflammatory response. It doesn't take a sleepless night to trigger arthritis pain. Even disrupted sleep or tossing and turning can make your joints feel heavier and more sensitive the next day. A patient of mine named Harold once joked that he didn't know what hurt more, his arthritis or his insomnia. But when he improved his sleep routine, his morning stiffness eased in ways he hadn't experienced in years. And then there's stress, a factor most people never connect to their joint pain. Stress creates tension in the muscles and raises inflammation throughout the body. When seniors carry emotional burdens, their joints often feel it before they do. I remember a widow in her late 60s who experienced intense flare-ups during anniversaries or holidays. Her body was grieving, and her joints expressed what her heart could not. The important thing to understand is that none of these triggers act alone. They build quietly, layering inflammation over days, weeks, or years until pain becomes a familiar companion. But when you begin identifying these patterns, you gain the power to interrupt them. You begin to see how even a small adjustment can create a ripple of relief. Arthritis pain doesn't appear without reason. Your body always communicates. It nudges you, whispers to you, and sometimes even shouts when something is wrong. When you learn how to listen to those signals, the path to relief becomes far clearer than you ever imagined. And that understanding brings us closer to the natural remedy so many people overlook, the one that has helped countless seniors regain comfort and mobility. Why seniors react more strongly to arthritis triggers than younger adults. As we continue this journey together, I want you to imagine something simple. Two people eat the exact same meal. One is 30 years old, the other is in their 60s. They finish dinner, go to bed, and wake up the next morning. The 30-year-old feels perfectly fine, maybe even energized. But the 60-year-old wakes up with stiff fingers, aching knees, or a shoulder that refuses to move the way it did yesterday. Same food, same day, completely different outcome. Why does that happen? The answer lies in the beautiful, complicated, and deeply human way the body changes as we age. These changes aren't failures. They're adaptations. Your body has traveled through decades of living, healing, working, lifting, laughing, and enduring. And with time, its responses shift. The immune system becomes more vigilant. The joints become more delicate. The tissues recover more slowly. It's not weakness. It's simply the nature of a body that has been doing its job faithfully for a very long time. One of the biggest differences between younger and older adults is how inflammation behaves. When you're young, inflammation comes and goes quickly. The body extinguishes it almost as fast as it appears. But after 60, inflammation becomes more stubborn. It lingers. It settles deeper into the joints. Instead of leaving overnight, it sometimes takes days to clear. So even a tiny trigger, something your younger self wouldn't have noticed, can create a noticeable flare of arthritis pain. I once cared for a retired high school coach named Bill. He told me he used to eat spicy wings and soda without a single complaint from his joints. But after he turned 65, he noticed his hands swelling every time he indulged. He thought it was coincidence, or maybe he'd just slept wrong. But as we talked, he realized his body hadn't betrayed him. It was simply reacting more strongly because his metabolism had slowed, his joint cartilage was thinner, and his immune system didn't process inflammation the way it once did. The metabolism shift is important. As we age, our bodies take longer to break down sugar, fat, and processed carbohydrates. These foods stay in the bloodstream longer, creating more inflammatory byproducts. In a younger person, those byproducts clear quickly. But in someone older, they stick around and irritate the joints. It's like cleaning up a spill. A younger body can wipe it away instantly. An older body needs more time, and while it's working, the joints feel the consequences. Another reason seniors react more strongly is circulation. Blood flow naturally slows with age, especially in the hands, knees, feet, and lower back. Those are the same places arthritis pain loves to settle. So when inflammation builds, there isn't enough circulation to wash it out efficiently. It stays trapped in the joint spaces, creating stiffness, swelling, and pain. Many of my patients say their hands feel tight or thick in the morning. That sensation often comes from inflammation that wasn't cleared overnight because circulation wasn't strong enough to support the process. The immune system also plays a huge role. After 60, it becomes more sensitive, responding more intensely to even mild irritants. Think of it like a smoke alarm that becomes extra alert after years of protecting the house. It's not malfunctioning. It's just trying to keep you safe with the tools it has left. Foods that were harmless in youth now trigger stronger inflammatory responses because the immune system sees them differently. I remember a patient named Rose who told me, "I feel like my body reacts to everything these days." She wasn't wrong. Her immune system was louder than it used to be, more reactive, more protective. And once she understood that, she felt a sense of compassion for her body rather than frustration. She no longer saw herself as someone who was falling apart. She saw herself as someone who was changing. These changes can feel discouraging, but I want you to hold on to the truth beneath them. If your body responds more strongly now, it also means it can improve more quickly when you give it the right support. Seniors often see dramatic relief with even small lifestyle shifts because their bodies are highly responsive. That sensitivity that once caused pain can also be the same sensitivity that allows healing to happen surprisingly fast. And that's why understanding these differences matters. When you know why your body reacts the way it does, you become empowered. You no longer blame yourself or your age. You begin to recognize patterns, make gentle adjustments, and finally feel in control again. And with that understanding, you're ready to explore the natural remedy so many people overlook. The remedy that has helped countless seniors reduce arthritis pain more easily than they ever expected. The natural cure. Most seniors overlook, and why it works. Now that we've uncovered why arthritis pain intensifies with age, what triggers those flare-ups, and why the same foods affect seniors so differently than younger adults, I want to bring you to the heart of our conversation. This is the moment where everything comes together. Because understanding your pain is only the first step. The true breakthrough happens when you discover that your body still has the capacity to heal, soften, and respond. And often, the key lies in something wonderfully natural and surprisingly simple. The natural cure that so many seniors overlook is what I call the anti-inflammatory lifestyle shift. It's not a single pill, not a special supplement, not a strict meal plan. It's a gentle combination of small, daily choices that calm inflammation from the inside out. These choices work harmoniously, each one amplifying the effect of the other, creating a healing environment your joints have been craving for years. Let me tell you about a man named Samuel. He was 72 and had reached a point where arthritis pain shaped nearly every decision in his day. He avoided stairs, stopped gardening, even hesitated to pick up his grandchildren because he feared the ache that would follow. One day, he looked at me and said, "If there's something natural I can do, I'll try anything." And what helped him wasn't something dramatic. It was a series of simple, consistent shifts that changed the way his body reacted to inflammation. The first shift was food. Samuel replaced a few inflammatory items with foods that naturally calm the body. Leafy greens, berries, ginger, turmeric, olive oil, and omega-3 rich fish. Within a week, he noticed the morning stiffness easing, not disappearing but loosening, like his joints were finally exhaling after years of tension. The second shift was hydration. Seniors often underestimate the power of water. Joints rely on hydration to keep synovial fluid smooth and protective. When that fluid becomes thick from dehydration, movement becomes painful. Samuel started drinking an extra glass of water mid-afternoon, and one day he said to me, "It feels like someone put oil back in my knees." The third shift was gentle movement, not strenuous exercise, but slow, intentional stretching that signals to the body, "I'm still here, I still want to move, help me do it comfortably." 10 minutes in the morning, simple ankle circles, shoulder rolls, bending and extending the fingers, woke up his joints in a gentle rhythm. This small routine improved his circulation and helped his body flush out inflammatory chemicals more efficiently. Then there was the emotional shift. Stress and unresolved emotions can inflame the body as surely as sugar or poor sleep. When Samuel made time for quiet breathing, short walks outside, and moments of gratitude, his pain eased in ways that surprised even him. Emotional calm became a natural anti-inflammatory tool. All these small steps blended into a breakthrough. Not a miracle cure, not overnight magic, but a powerful transformation created by consistent, natural care. The same sensitivity that once caused his pain now worked in his favor. His body responded quickly because it craved balance and relief. Another patient, a woman named Teresa, told me that after she began shifting her habits, she felt a kind of peace in her joints she hadn't felt in 20 years. She said, "I didn't know my body could feel this gentle again." And she was right. The body remembers how to heal when you give it the right environment. This natural cure works because it treats inflammation at its source instead of masking it. It works because it respects the way the aging body communicates, and it works because it's sustainable. You don't need dramatic change. You need consistent, compassionate care for your body, day after day. What I want you to take away from this is simple. Your body is not done. Your joints are not beyond help. Your age does not limit your ability to find comfort. You have more influence over your arthritis pain than you've been led to believe. And when you embrace these natural shifts, your body responds with a tenderness you may not have felt in years. As we come to the end of this journey together, I want you to pause for a moment and honor yourself. You've spent decades living, giving, working, loving, and carrying the weight of countless responsibilities. Your joints have held you through every step of that journey. And even now, they're still asking for nothing more than care, patience, and understanding. One thing I've learned in over 30 years of working with older adults is that healing doesn't begin with a cure. It begins with belief. The belief that change is still possible. The belief that your body is not finished. The belief that even at 60, 70, or beyond, you can still influence your health in ways that are meaningful and real. When you treat your body with kindness, it responds. When you offer it consistency, it grows stronger. When you give it gratitude, something inside you softens and allows healing to happen. Your body is not your enemy. It has never been against you. It has been your companion from the very beginning, doing everything it can to support you in every season of life. And now, at this stage, it simply needs your partnership. A little more intention, a little more gentleness, a little more listening. The natural cure we talked about isn't just about reducing arthritis pain. It's about reconnecting with your body, understanding its signals, and realizing you still hold the power to shape your future. With patience and belief, small changes add up to something profound. So as you move forward, I want you to remember this. Your body is capable, your joints are resilient, and your life can still feel lighter, softer, and more comfortable than it does today. If you'd like a place where you can continue learning, growing, and healing with guidance and compassion, I invite you to subscribe to Senior Health Daily. We'll walk this path together, gently and with hope.